Right, I have played, watched the remaster, or otherwise experienced all of this series that is available as far as I can gather. Here's what you need to know going into Kingdom Hearts 3. Also, I'm really glossing over this. This story is convoluted as all hell, so just the bare essentials. Right, so in the before time of the long, long ago, there was one vast world created and watched over by Kingdom Hearts, a sort of core wherein all light originated. Or something, I think. In this world lived the Master of Masters, who arbitrarily disappears at some point, leaving 5 disciples to take care of the world for him, not before telling them that the world is going to be destroyed and there was nothing they could do about it. They form unions of warriors who wield special weapons called keyblades, key-like swords with varying magical properties, all originating as imperfect copies of the X-Blade, which guards Kingdom Hearts, somehow. Almost immediately, the 5 leaders lose trust in each other, split into factions, and fight for control of Kingdom Hearts, and so begins the Great Keyblade Throwdown. Everyone dies, including the Master, and the devastation is such that Kingdom Hearts gets swallowed in darkness due to too much death, and the X-Blade, as well as the world, shatters into pieces. The fragments of the worlds each become many different worlds existing on their own. On one such world, the ways of the Keyblade survive in the form of a sacred order presided over by Master Ericus, voiced by Mark Hamill. With him is Xehanort, a man with a curious obsession with the Great Keyblade Brawl to end them all, who wants to recreate the conditions of said scuffle to forge a new X-Blade. He manipulates one of Mark Hamill's apprentices, wounds another, sending part of his heart into a baby, more on that later, and pretty much leaves the other alone for now. Anyway, at some point, Mark Hamill becomes scared of the darkness in the hearts of his 2 apprentices and, whoa, getting some major deja vu here. Anyway, Terra, the big guy with darkness powers, kills Mark Hamill and goes off to confront Xehanort, who steals his body. Ventus gets put into a coma by an evil clone, and Aqua basically sets out on a quest to put this right and ends up lost in the Dark World. Important to note here is that leaving his body as he did, Xehanort left behind a Heartless, manifested from the darkness in his heart, and a Nobody to occupy his empty shell. I think. More on that later. 10 years later, the baby that has some of Ventus's heart has grown up to be a video game protagonist called Sora. So his island gets swallowed up by the Heartless, he comes into possession of a Keyblade, and goes around combating said Heartless and slowing the tide of decay. But all he really wants to do is find his friends again. Riku, a vaguely emo teenage rival who turns on him at one point to be redeemed later, and Kairi, the girl who spends most of the first part out of the fight. What is this, Naruto? Anyway, eventually he finds his friends again, but in doing so, he got caught up in a massive and really convoluted conspiracy by Xehanort to make 13 bodies for himself in order, with 7 pure of heart Keyblade wielders, to reforge the X-Blade, because apparently that's what it takes. As we've seen, he has the power to possess people, and he's manipulated a lot of others along the way. I'm not going into that, it's way too complicated, and frankly I don't think it matters. Anyway, you know he left behind a Heartless and a Nobody? Well, they're dead now. They were like the final bosses for 1 and 2. Oh, Sora left behind a Heartless and Nobody at 1.2, by the way, and the Nobody looks just like Ventus. But since they've both been killed, he's back to life now in his original human form, because apparently that's how that works. In the meantime, Riku and Kairi have got their act together and trained for the fight with some others. So here we are at Kingdom Hearts 3. Xehanort wants to create another great Keyblade brouhaha to possess the ultimate power, and destroy countless lives in the process. This is basically a bad thing, so Sora and the gang have to stop it. That's basically the long and short of it. Oh, and there's a load of Final Fantasy and Disney characters as well.